Hey, Rhonda. Hey, Anunnaki. I was just starting to. Hey, Bob. I was just about to wave to the camera while waiting for people to come in. I am significantly later than usual, so won't be surprised if it's a quieter crowd tonight. Hey, J Dot. Hey, Gingerbread. How am I feeling? Shit it out. I think. I think I emptied. I think I emptied myself. Hey, Ash. What's dinner? I actually didn't even have a dinner tonight. Hey, Wiener. Hey, Scrape Coat. Why was it late? Hey, Backrooms. Because I didn't feel great earlier. Because I had a milkshake this afternoon. And, oops. Hey, JJ. It's been over for a couple hours now. Hey, Butterscotch. Yeah, my diary has been over for a couple hours. Luckily, Golden Chick, nice. Not sure if we even have that in Canada. Does your old burn? Not right now. Make sure you drink extra water. I know. Hey, Solo Trip. Not McDonald's now. Hey, Anonymous. Hey, Turkey Lake. I mean, I will. I've got spare toilet paper right now. Hey, Habibi. Hey, Jordan. But once I have to start buying toilet paper again, I'll buy my own. I will go. I'm fine now, Honey Bunny. Hey, Anonymous. I will be probably going with Royale toilet paper because there's kittens on it. That'll drink. A milkshake. I'm not going to say where I got it from. I have TP. I've got spare toilet paper. I've got toilet paper from when we left, from like before we left the villa. Like I took some toilet paper from when we were still in the villa. We had some spare toilet paper that I threw in a box. So the roommates when they're not looking. Eyeballs. I don't know how many. NG, hello. Why are we talking about toilet paper? Because I had the runs earlier, MG. It's because I had the runs earlier. Want the milkshake so bad? Yeah, I can't drink milkshakes. It was, hey, Sandy. I should not have had that milkshake. Tries making toilet paper last month. I do have EB. I do make it last a while. Hey, Cam. Scott toilet paper is the best. Does Scott toilet paper have kittens on the packaging? I think not. Jordan? No, I don't want to go into detail. So I did actually go out and about today. Like to, apparently so. I am Anunnaki. I did go out and about today. Finally got out. Turkey Lake, a while. Finally got out to drop off the Rogers modem at the post office. Couple weeks over, 2 weeks later than I should have. We understand, MG. I let people know that I've been letting people know that that you are busy with work and shit, work and stuff. PO box? No PO box yet. Again, it costs money. I'm not sure if I'll even bother with it, just because it does cost a lot of money, or it does cost a chunk of change, a little bit of money. Anyway, so yeah, the Rogers modem from the villa finally got around. Hey, Fernanda. Finally got around to taking that and dropping it off at the post office to be returned back to Rogers. Getting out is not a bad band right now. Trust me, I was just diagnosed with a nasty heart issue. Oof. Now scared to drive or walk. Nah. Hey, Squishy. And Ashton Key? Well, no, Rogers is a communication company. Canada Post. Canada Post is the USPS of Canada. We have Canada Post. But like the modem that I got, because when I was in the villa, the internet that we had was through Rogers. So I had a modem from Rogers that I needed to return, and they don't take those back at the Rogers locations. They take it back from like you return it through the mail. You return it through Canada Post. So I took it to the post office to be returned back to Rogers. Anyway, so that's what I did. And while I was at, I checked a couple other places. There's not a lot to do at Lolo, unfortunately. Hey, Lambo! Tried to return my Xfinity router and it was a nightmare. I'll be honest, it's actually not, for the most part, it's actually not that bad in Canada. Because what'll happen, they'll send you an email so you can print off a return label. If you don't have a printer, I did not have a printer. So if you don't have a printer, they will give you a code that you provide at the post office so that they can print off the return label. So it's quick and easy. It's actually like it actually has like made a pretty simple process. For right now, Bob regards, yeah. Friday is St. Patrick's Day, is it? Cool. Cancel my subscription, took it back physically into the branch, and then they proceeded to bombard me with new planes, even though I'm outside of their range. Get calls daily from the yeah. Yeah, that's shitty. Hey, Blueberry Muffins. Better now. I got a call today from Rogers asking if I wanted to switch over to their cell phone service. I'm like, not interested. Not that I have anything against Rogers' cell phone service. It's just I'm fine with the provider I've got right now. Of course not yet. I don't know. You haven't watched Seth Rogen in years. So anyway, yeah. So I did get out and about, and while I was out, I stopped in at a place that does have milkshakes. Hey, Twinkle Twinkle. Because I'm only just now feeling up to going live. So yeah, I did stop in, had a quick lunch at a place that does have milkshakes, and to bring the boys to the yard. Hey, Combrick. Drop them off at the pool. So yeah, it was a mistake. It was not worth it. I wish it was worth it, but it was not. Fine, it's better now. I took some Pepto earlier. Still shit a few more times after that. Thanks, Twinkle. No, my tummy's fine now. My tummy is fine now. The Pepto finally settled me down. Right? My tummy finally settled down a couple hours ago, and I just took a couple hours to make sure. What about last night? Yeah, I just felt shitty yesterday. Declogged the toilet. A couple days ago, I almost clogged it, and discovered that the plunger that's in my bathroom is broken. It's got a big crack in it. It doesn't work. So yeah, I'll need to buy a new plunger soon. Go for a milkshake sometime? Nope, never again. Never ever again. Crack button. I didn't. It was like that when I got. It was already like that. Yeah, it was like a. No, like I sort of. It unclogged. The toilet unclogged itself like really fast. Like I sort of did like one plain cheeseburger says hello. Hello, plain cheeseburger. Got sprayed with toilet water because my dad thought it was a good idea to duct tape the toilet water nozzle apparatus on the inside of the toilet instead of fixing it. It was grand. So yeah, I have plungers at hardware stores. They have plungers at a lot of places. Grocery stores have them as well. So yeah, it's like I did like gave it. So I grabbed the plunger. It was like, it's like, well, that's not good, but it did pretty much just drain automatically, and it's been flushing, completely normal. Sorry, Comic Brook. So yeah, it is draining completely normal right now. But I will need to get a plunger soon. Probably next time. Next time I do my groceries, I'll see if I can see if I can find a plunger there as well. Or would you plunge the toilet for your roommate? Is that cool? Yeah. I have not tried the jacuzzi yet. So yeah, I was out for a couple hours. So yeah, or maybe like an hour and a half. So I was out for like an hour and a half maybe. And yeah, it was tough. Tiring. Never owned a plunger. Also, I stopped off at Cornwall Square. So the main mall in Cornwall is Cornwall Square. That is our big mall, at least for indoor malls. That's our indoor mall. David Goggins arm wrestling video. No, thank you. Anime stores not in Cornwall. There's a comic book shop, but even that's not really a lot of anime stuff in there. Toilets in Canada are different. My friend from the Netherlands said American toilets are too low and too full of water. Also, she complained we don't have real bread in the US. I imagine Canadian toilets are probably pretty similar to American toilets. Best store in the mall. Kohl's, the bookstore. No, Sandy. You annoyed me. I don't remember why I was annoyed at you, but you annoyed me. I mean, Atlanta, Georgia, and our malls are suffering big time. Positive that Moss will be obsolete very soon. Yeah. Yeah, it's like, see, I stopped in at Cornwall Square, the main mall here. Hey, Rebecca. So like, because I had the poops, Rebecca. I had the poops. Love malls. Need to buy pants in person because now I'm fat and nothing fits. No, Simon Ronaldo. Not interested. Anyway, so it is depressing. Lighting. Shit. Cornwall Square looks like it's about to fucking close. Half the mall is closed at this point. Like half the locations, half the storefronts are closed at this point. So yeah, it's just, it is in bad shape, even compared to just like 5 years ago. Their move, never. Dire Rear would be a good band name. Still New York fries. Not at the moment. There's renovations going on in the food court, so I don't. There are only a few stores. There are only a few restaurants at the mall that are still open. Like there's a couple of. There's an Asian place. There's a sort of a walk place. I don't remember. So yeah, there's only a couple of places that still selling food at the mall right now because there's some apparently some renovations going on in the food court. I have no idea if Tough Girl. Not really. Malls are done dying. They will certainly be a thing of the past sooner or later. Sooner than later. Want to know one of the things that makes me saddest about the end of malls? I grew up on 90s X-Men. Jubilee. Does a mall babe eat chili fries? Sliding timeline means that at some point that's going to have to be, it's going to have to be retconned out and her hanging around like fucking outdoor malls or something, and that's not the same. I'm weird. It's weird that that's sort of what. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that worries me about it, Rebecca, but it's just one of those weird things that makes me sad about it. Like already, an exit said Jubilee line when I asked if she wanted my shot. Oh, it said that Jubilee. Nice. That's cute. I do have a winter coat comic book. Did I ever carry a skateboard around inside the mall? No, because I was never into skating. I was never into skateboarding. Can we see it? Another time. Oh. You're okay, J. Dot. Movie theaters are dying where I am also. They just took our last drive-in movie away. Missing closing. Yeah, that's tough as well because especially the extent of like studio conglomeration is putting a huge hurt on movie theaters. What's on Punisher coming to the Daredevil show? Will he be Disney-fied? I don't know. I probably won't. I won't. I'm not going to be watching it. So, because yeah, it's like because there's only a few studios, they hold all the bargaining power in negotiations with theaters. Hey, Valley. So like they can just set whatever fucking agreements they want. Like they can just no, we're getting all the money from the movie. You only get money from the concessions. Oh, you don't like that deal? Well, I guess you don't want to see the new event. I guess you don't want the new Avengers movie then. Rebecca? No, I do not think that. Most released movies these days end up available for streaming literally a week later as well. That's something I'm actually kind of okay with. But yeah, how do you feel about Nightclub? Fight Club? It was a good movie. I enjoyed Fight Club when I watched it. Thanks, Lila. Rebecca? Indeed. Do you think they'll get rid of his logo still? Honestly, that's a tough one. Truthfully, wouldn't be a bad idea. Because that skull has been pretty thoroughly co-opted by the absolute shittiest people in society. Colors my V-neck. It's green. It's a green shirt. Give J Dot some words of encouragement. You're okay, J Dot. We all like you. Like who? Alt-right douchebags love the Punisher skull. But also police. There's a lot of shitty police out there who like get like Punisher skulls on their as tattoos or badge or like some badges or stickers on their cars or nobody's mad at you, J Dot. We all like you. Hey Amy. Do I pirate movies? Of course not, Habibi. I would never watch a movie illegally. I watch things only through completely legally acquired means. Jokes aside, I actually don't really pirate movies. The only time the only reason I would pirate a movie is if it's just not available on streaming services. Like there are movies where it's you kind of can't actually find. So I might, so that's a situation where I might pirate torrent, but even then, not really. But anyway, yeah. So Punisher. Hey, Donut Predator. So yeah, back to the Punisher. The shittiest member of the shittiest people in society have co-opted that Punisher skull. Um, it's tainted at this point. It really is. It's completely tainted. Um, Primary love language, cold hard cash. I don't know. Puncher's tainted, kinda. At the very least, his skull, that skull logo is tainted. Pirate the whole thing, Final Fantasy ROMs. Or I could buy them. Sometimes I think I prefer police to the crackheads that flank my path from work to home late at night. What you would actually prefer is for those crackheads to not be there. The easiest way to get those crackheads out of the way is community investment. So things like, these people are addicted to drugs, so you set up methadone clinics, funding for rehab clinics. Beyond that, homes. Just a black shirt, no skull is fine. Yeah, probably. Probably be the way to go. Because here's the thing. This is something that has been tried. I'm not. This is a what I'm going to suggest is a strategy that has been attempted in multiple places, multiple countries, multiple cities, multiple neighborhoods. It's something that's been tried a fair number of times, and every time it's been tried, it's actually worked. The way to solve homelessness is to give people homes. They get homes. We're not talking, luxury shit here. We're talking bare bones apartments. So you give them a home, and in give it a little bit of time, those people end up finding jobs. They pay taxes. They become productive members of society. Get them room to shut up in. A big reason that people do drugs is because it's an escape from a life that they find unlivable. What's a small reason people do drugs? Some people do drugs for fun, just recreationally. There are also people who do drugs because it's an escape from a life that sucks. I never said homelessness did have anything to do with drugs, backrooms. How do you handle criminals? I would go after the root causes of crime. That is how you deal with crime, is to address the root causes. Are ponies my escape? Not anymore. Death in the family would turn to stones? Yeah. And you should have been given a home. Homelessness should not be a fucking thing. Why did I do drugs? Because I'm cheap. Nah, you're fine, J-Dot. Met a man once who preferred to be homeless, didn't want a home. Right, backrooms. So you give those people a fucking home, and boom. They get jobs, they become productive members of society. There is no one root cause. There's a bunch of root causes. I am both. I am poor and cheap. But even when I had money, I was cheap. Too cheap to buy drugs. I was drug addicts never seems to work out well. Yeah, it's like police don't actually solve any of these problems. If more police reduced, believe it or not, Chad, police are actually not very effective at preventing crime. Maybe in certain neighborhoods, but for the most part, no, they're not actually all that effective at preventing crime. And they're often not all that effective at solving crimes. What they are good at, what police are good at, is cracking down on the most minor shit. No, nobody hates you, J-Dot. Yeah, like, if more police led to less drugs, New York City would have no fucking drugs left. Thoughts on people that trauma dump? Have you been? Yeah, I have. Doesn't stop me from recognizing what... Shit, Christy, I'm not talking about not just the US. Canada has the same problems with the police. So does the UK. So do a lot of other countries. Yeah, it's like police... Police don't solve the actual problems. Cops are supposed to enforce laws. They can be cops can often be pretty selective in which laws they choose to enforce. Defund the police and put the money into milkshake awareness. Detectives solve crimes. And there's still a lot of crimes that go unsolved. There's certain types of crimes the police don't even bother with. Like, if you're the victim of a mugging or a burglary or anything like that, hey, Rara, police are just going to file a report that you can use for insurance purposes. Negating? Yes, I will on Saturday, Blueberry. Yeah, it's hey, Barney. What's the red tape? I mean, it's not really the red tape. It's in the case of like burglaries and muggings and other things like that. The issue is it's just there's not much that they can do. Like, it's like just like what, like they can't really do much, so they just admit that. Roving. Oh, if you steal from rich people, police will definitely do whatever they can to bust you. Hey, Naz. Hey, Gentry. If you do something that affects rich people, police will absolutely go out of their way to find you. Yeah, most kinds of theft, police are like, here's the report for your insurance. Here's the report for insurance purposes. Thoughts on shoplifting? Is my super chat large enough for me to send to express everything I have to say about policing? Fair enough, MG, fair enough. As far as shoplifting goes, I've mentioned this on the channel before. The number one type of theft, wage theft. Employers take more money from their employees than shoplifters take from the stores. I was never a cop, but I worked with police often. Don't steal from small businesses and don't get caught are the only rules of shoplifting. Pretty much, JJ. Yeah. Steal from like major corporations? Who cares? They factor that shit into the cost. Like Walmart factors in, Walmart or Sears when it was still around, or other major corporations, other major stores, chain stores. They actually factor in shoplifting. Do you know how much work employees do in an 8-hour day, especially office workers? I mean, I don't know about office workers. I've never worked in an office. Do you scan a PS5 as a banana at a self-checkout? I would not, because I'm an honest person. Filthy animal. I would bet money that the real cause, the real reason for those stores being shut down has nothing to do with theft and shoplifting. Hey, Lindsay. I would honestly bet money that that is not the real reason. Hey, Venus. They may blame shoplifting, or they may not be. In some cases, it's I remember just the other day, I was reading something about there was some article that it was talking about like the 2 Walmarts in Portland closing and saying that it was because of shoplifting. And it turned out the original article that was talking about those stores closing did not mention shoplifting at all. Walmart did not actually, when Walmart was announced those 2 stores in Portland being closed, they didn't mention shoplifting at all. It's not millions of dollars, filthy animal. It's not millions of dollars in the same stores. But backwards. If you're getting shot, stabbed, car stolen, house robbed, the police will not actually arrive in time to help you. If your car gets stolen, the police will give you a report. If your house gets robbed, the police will give you a report. That's what they do in those situations. They don't even try to recover your lost goods. Being shot. By the time the police get there, you've already been shot. And shit. In the event of a mass shooting, the police might stand around outside for a couple hours before even trying to get in. They can't predict crimes? Right, they can't. which is why like police are not actually particularly effective at preventing crime. And um, and a lot of the time, they're not particularly effective at solving the crime. Which is why it's a lot more important to invest the money into shit that actually will address the root causes of why those crimes happen. Police get, there are some cities where police budgets are like 30-40% in some cases of the city budget. Well, sometimes lower, but like police budgets are usually one of the larger line items in a city budget. And that money can absolutely be better spent. Because as it is, police are expected to just like be like fucking single-handedly responsible for preserving society, and like they're not trained for most of that shit. They're not trained in social services. They're not trained in how to deal with autistic people making a scene. Like, I still remember that incident just a few years ago where some autistic guy was like sitting in the middle of the street. Obviously, disturbance had to obviously be dealt with, and the police shot him. He wasn't a threat to anybody. Like, he wasn't actually a threat, but the police still shot him because it was a situation. They shot the autistic man's Wrangler in one case. Yeah, I think there was another incident of that. So it's like, did he survive? No, I'm pretty sure that guy died. It's like, it didn't need to happen, and if there was better funding for social services, you wanted to looks like it was Salt Lake City. I think the specific incident I was thinking of was Lyndon Cameron in Salt Lake City. Okay, he wasn't actually killed. That kid wasn't actually killed. Yeah, 13-year-old boy. He was shot at 11 times by the police. in the end, that one did get settled for $3 million. Like the city did settle with the family for $3 million. I would bet that the officers who shot that 13-year-old autistic boy, they probably didn't. That $3 million wasn't coming out of their pension. No, like if those officers suffered any consequence, like if those officers got fired, they just would have gotten hired in a different city's department. Yeah, when you have a social problem, you go to a social worker, not a cop. But social services don't get nearly as much funding as police do. If you get assaulted, do you want the cops to be like, I don't know? Again, if I get assaulted, there's pretty good odds that, oh, that sucks, will be just about the extent of what the police do. Look good in uniform? Yeah, probably. You know, he play the game with me. Not tonight. I think I'm a little bit tired for tonight, MG. Oh, that sucks, sir. You got stomped out and your head got caved in. Whoops. I mean, just about. What are your thoughts on people that pretend to be cops like Jeremy DeWitt? I mean, they're douchebags. Yeah, I mean, as far as like, you know, one of the main reasons that you would have police would be to solve murders. Yeah, obviously, you need murder occurs. You do need somebody to investigate that. In Canada, uh, the murder solve rate is 67% as of 2021. As of in 2021, the murder solve rate was 67% in Canada. In the US, in 2020, it was about 50%. Only about half of all the murders in the US even get solved. So, like, one of the main things that you would want police to have to, like, one of the main things that you would want police to exist for. In the US, they've only got a 50-50 success rate. It's Cornwall true crime case. Oh, absolutely. There have been murders in Cornwall. I don't know that there's been any like. I don't know that anyone has ever. 100% of murder victims in the U.S. stay dead. I would think that there's probably 1% that don't. I think 1%. I think 1% don't stay dead. They date Catherine Holka? No. Thanks, Bally. Muggings or pickpockets in Cornwall? Less now than when I was a kid. Yeah, I don't know if anyone's ever done like any true crime docs on any of the murders that used to happen in Cornwall, but Cornwall did when I was a kid. Cornwall was legitimately one of the most dangerous cities in Canada. You know, I never experienced any of it myself. I lived sort of suburban area of Cornwall. So like I obviously wasn't exposed to any of the violence. Yeah, and I lived in like back then when I was a kid, I lived in an especially white area. Lived in a fucking cul-de-sac. We had an entire series about solving murders here. Top that. But yeah, it's when I was a kid. Yeah, there were absolutely murders that happened in Cornwall when I was a kid. Lots of them, because Cornwall used to be a really big smuggling sit town. There was a lot of smuggling that happened in Cornwall. Because we are right on the border. There's a bridge that goes to the U.S. And there's also First Nations reservation, like bridge to a First Nations reservation, which because of the historical treatment of the Indigenous population, of the First Nations population, there are certain treaties in place that regulate and sort of prevent Canada, that sort of prevent police from from being particularly active in on First Nations land. Because of that, it does mean that reservations end up, or at least that this particular reservation ended up being a really convenient way for smuggling. And I don't blame them one bit, because OBS. I don't know how to use OBS. Probably paid off the reservation police. I mean, probably. I'm sure there were lots of payoffs going on. But yeah, it did mean that because of Canada's location, because there was the bridge to the US, and because there was that reservation right there on an island even, smuggling was really easy. Like, it was really easy for people to smuggle back when I was a kid. A little bit less so now because the bridge moved a little bit. There's still some smuggling. Cigarettes is a big thing these days. Lots of weed came through the Canadian border before weed was legalized in half the U.S. Yeah, and there were drugs coming from, and there's drugs coming from U.S. to Canada as well. Raccoon pipes. These days, there's just a lot of cigarettes. reservation cigarettes. So just like loose bag. So just like Ziploc bags full of cigarettes, $20, and you get just like this huge bag of cigarette, or not huge, but you get this Ziploc bag just full of cigarettes. So there's still, that's sort of the main thing these days, which not Lucy's. Yes, exactly, Sandy, Lucy's. Belly. I don't eat on camera these days. My mom, because my mom's funds are limited, she buys a lot of them. I don't know, a lot of people buy them just because it's cheap to get a shit ton of cigarettes from them, which I need to see you eat spaghetti ASAP or I'm gonna lose it. Anyone here actually near Cornwall? I'm familiar with the area. I think I did have one viewer in Ottawa. She would probably be vaguely familiar with Cornwall. Well, it depends on how old she is, maybe. Paul Muller Newport. Neither. I forget what brand she smoked back when. Like, I forget what brand it was that she did smoke. Alexandria, 45 minutes away. Remember the last time a Canadian came to Philly? The hitchhiking robot? Is that the one you mean, Yoshiki? That hitchhiking robot who made it all the way across Canada and then got absolutely fucking destroyed in Philadelphia, you bastards. Christ, Philadelphia. Isn't Cornwall near Michigan? No. No, we're on the border with New York State. Shaky cheese. I still have a little bit of shaky cheese, actually. Never watched 8 Mile. Mom used to send me into the store to get her cigarettes. My mom asked me to do it a couple of times, but not very often because it was something that I really, really did not like doing. Like, I was really never comfortable buying cigarettes. Fight Club? Yeah, Fight Club was good. Italian woman that tried to hitchhike across the Middle East. I don't remember that scapegoat. I have absolutely no memory of that at all. Never, Jordan. Thoughts on Quentin Tarantino releasing his last movie ever next year? Crave a stream that isn't me sitting entirely still. I know, Comic Brook. There's not a lot to do. Me and my cousin would go to the liquor store for her grandma and buy cigs, no problem. Those are in 84, we were like 10. Nietzsche. Never read any Nietzsche. I've read a little bit about Nietzsche, but not ever read any of them. 360 spin in the chair. I can try. Ignoring the hot light. I'll consider it. There you go. Did a 720. Boom. Must not have had weeks. Just woke up and Miss Nair, can you do a recap? I had the shits. Police suck, and I guess that's about it. Junji Ito, not really my thing. I'm not really into horror, MG. So Junji Ito is just not my style. But after dinner, I didn't actually eat dinner. Because yeah, I had that lunch, and I had that milkshake with lunch, and it upset my stomach. So I haven't actually eaten a dinner yet tonight. Watching some old SNL clips tonight with Eddie Murphy, John Belushi, Bill Murray, etc. But there's no way that kind of comedy would be tolerated today by sensitive people. Depends, Filthy Animal. There are going to be some jokes that wouldn't really fly today. Like Belushi pretending to be a Japanese chef. Yeah, that's the kind of thing that wouldn't really fly today. Trotskys. Anima on stream? No. No comic book. But yeah, there was plenty of humor from that era of SNL that would still. I mean, I might not fly today just because comedic sensibilities have changed. Just because like be one of those things where some of the jokes would be like, that was just a dumb joke. Not out of sensibility, not out of sensitivity, but just out of a change in taste regarding comedy. I mean, that's definitely a thing. I mean, taste in comedy absolutely do change here. But I play gifted games on Steam. Probably not Yoshiki. I don't think so. Do you think comedy is censored now? Nope, I don't. Hire a sex worker? Nah, I don't think I would, Ash. But no, I don't think comedy is too censored now. I think a big part of comedy is he didn't nearly get killed. That's stupid, Dandy. No laughter left. Cultural values change. And sad truth about comedy is each joke needs a victim. No, it doesn't, Yoshiki. I disagree with that. I think you can have legitimately hilarious jokes where there's no actual victim. Here's the thing. So, Simpsons. The other day, I was on Twitter and somebody was tweeting. I came across a thread that somebody had done of some of their favorite quick Simpsons jokes. One of the jokes was from one of the Treehouses of Horror, the one where Ned had taken over the world. Homer was being chased by dogs, and he was like, "I know these," and he took out some sausages. These wieners will give me the quick burst of energy I need to escape. And he, scorched him down, and ran faster. There's no victim in that joke. The joke is just entirely about it being. Thanks, Jenna. Happy Jersey Day to you too. Like the joke there is just that it's going completely different direction than what you thought than what you would expect. Good night, Blueberry. You do that, Sandy. Nice, you get it. There's no victim again. It's not playing off. It's not playing off anybody's stupidity. It's playing with expectations. I simply cannot stop laughing at that joke because it is like, like as soon as you remember that joke, it's like, fuck, that one was hilarious. That was an amazing joke. So, and utterly harmless. Nobody, it's completely inoffensive and is absolutely fucking hilarious. And there's plenty of humor like that. So, I think that there is an attitude from a lot of people that comedy needs a target. Weren't you leaving, Sandy? It'll be hard to miss you if you don't fucking go. I'm joking. I'm joking, Sandy. I'm sorry. That was unnecessarily mean. Takes stress from unnecessarily mean spirited. I'm not on medication now. But yeah, I feel like there is sort of an attitude from certain people that comedy needs a target. That no, I don't think you're dumb at all, Comic Book. Thanks, Sandy. But yeah, there's an attitude that it's only funny if somebody else is getting offended. I feel like there is definitely a little bit of an attitude from certain people that comedy requires that somebody else be offended, that somebody else be hurt. And I disagree with that greatly. But having said that, I also think Michael Richards got canceled just for saying. I mean, yeah, that was a fucking asshole thing for him to do, Dandy. Of course, people were pissed at him. White people do not get to say that word. It's just that's just the way it is. White people do not get to say that word. The N-word. White people do not get to say the N-word. For very obvious reasons. There is a... What about white rappers? Gray area. Because some of them did grow up in that area. So there are rare exceptions. There are rare exceptions of white people who are allowed to say it just because of where they grew up. Chevy Chase said the N-word hard R and we laughed. Sir? primarily a race thing, but there are rare exceptions. Very, very rare. And, but yeah, but in general, white people do not get to say the N-word, ever. So Michael Richards repeatedly screaming, when Michael Richards started repeatedly screaming the N-word, yeah, people were fucking pissed at him. And shit, it's not like Michael Richardson had a fucking career to begin with after Seinfeld. Nobody gave a shit about Michael Richardson after Seinfeld ended. What are the exceptions? There are rare exceptions of people who grew up in black neighborhoods where that language was just Marshall Mathers, Eminem. Yeah, like Eminem, I think grew up in a predominantly black area where like it was just everybody said it. That is in talks for his own TV series after Seinfeld, except that incident happened. But like I said, it is extremely, extremely, extremely rare. Why does that make it okay? Because those people are basically accepted by the black community. I feel like there are specific white people who black people have given are able to give permission. Eminem doesn't even say he doesn't. Okay, so yeah, so even fucking Eminem knows better then. Right. Well, yeah, so yeah, even Eminem knows better then. So yeah, white people don't get to say the N-word. It's like Chevy Chase saying the N-word on Saturday Night Live. I'm like, no, dude, fuck off. That is a shitty ass thing to do, Chevy. Though, from what I understand, Chevy Chase has always been kind of an asshole in general. Like I've heard that Chevy Chase has always been just a douche. Fair enough, Rita. But anyway, yeah, we were talking about comedy. So if you are going to do comedy that is targeting people, one of the golden rules in comedy: don't punch down. Like that is one of the most central rules in comedy is don't punch down. If you are, like, as an able-bodied person, you don't get to make fun of disabled people. You don't get to mock the blind. You're just being a dick. Black people face systemic discrimination that white people do not. There are systems of oppression in place that affect black people but do not affect white people. So white person making fun of black people, that is punching down. white person making fun of a rich person, regardless of race, that is different. White person making fun of, white person making fun of Bill Cosby, as long as you're not bringing race into it, go the fuck ahead. Don't make it a racial thing, but abso-goddamn-lutely make fun of Bill Cosby. That dick brought every bit of enmity he gets on himself. So, yeah, so like, white people don't get to make jokes where the target is black people. Able-bodied people don't get to make fun of disabled people. Because at that point, it stops being comedy and becomes bullying. It was not a fart. It was me. It was just me moving around on my chair. I think there are who taught you this line of thinking. Comedians. It's shit that I learned by like listening to what comedians said. Spicy kimchi? It is for now. Don't punch down? I have seen multiple comedians talk about that being one of the main rules of comedy. Like, that's not me making shit up. That's what comedians regularly say. Chris Rock had an entire fucking bit about it. Yeah, I remember watching a Chris Rock special once, and he was talking. Hey, color purple, and he was talking about like is Ricky Gervais punching down when he belittles people because he's an intellectual giant? I'll admit, Gervais is shitty enough that it would be hard for him to punch down on anybody. Ricky Gervais is a jackass. I don't like Ricky Gervais as a person, frankly. He's just an arrogant fucking prick. Explain the Ricky Gervais. My dislike of Ricky Gervais started with him being. It started when he became like super fucking anti-religious. Like, what was that fucking thing he did where he was like photo shoot of him like being crucified? It's like, fuck off, Ricky. Shut the fuck up, Ricky. Like, he's just. I'm an atheist, all right? I'm not anti-religious. I am not anti-religious. I'm an atheist. But that doesn't mean I oppose religion as a whole. And I don't run around sitting there like, oh, I'm so much smarter than you because I don't believe in God. That makes me so much smarter than you. That makes me better. I'm a better person because I don't believe in God. I'm smarter because I don't believe. I'm an atheist, and that makes me a smarter person than all you religious people. All you religious people are so stupid for believing. I'm an atheist, and that makes me so much smarter than you. Fuck off. Shut the fuck up, Ricky. So, like, Ricky Gervais is just one of those arrogant atheists. He's one of those atheists who is obnoxious about his atheism, who is, I mean, basically, he like proselytizes. He is, he tries to proselytize atheism. So that was the thing that got me starting on just disliking Ricky Gervais. When he started, yeah, probably Sandy. I'm not surprised that I pronounced it wrong. Yeah, that's sort of the thing that got me like that first turned me against Ricky, and then of course he came out as a turf. He started making those. He started making just the most tedious fucking pronoun jokes. No, Simon. And I like just fucking unoriginal, completely fucking lacking in any sort of insight, nonsense bullshit jokes about pronouns. And it's like, dude, you honestly think you're the first person to say this shit about pronouns? You're not even the millionth person to say this to make these jokes. It's the one fucking joke that TERFs have. Dude, come on, shut the fuck up about it. Your pronouns. What are all these pronouns? Pronouns are so silly. Ash, whatever. These are whatever. Fine, that's fine. It's like it's one of those things where it's like he started making fun of. He started making jokes about trans people, and they were just not. They were simply not good jokes. They were boring, tedious, overdone, rehashed, same fucking bullshit jokes that people have been making for years already. It was just boring. You think that Brendan Fraser is daddy? I would say probably. I am no expert on daddy, Compbrook. I'm no expert on that topic, but I would guess that he probably is. So yeah, for Ricky Gervais, between his utterly obnoxious, aggressive atheism and his move into turfiness, yeah, I just have no fucking patience for that guy. Do not like him. Who is Ricky Gervais? British comedian. He created the original British version of The Office, and he's done a bunch of other shit. That's on Shamrock Shakes. Never had a Shamrock Shake. Bob Hope. Bob Hope. I'm not really familiar with Bob Hope's comedy. The impression I get is that the jokes that he told simply became classics. You only you watch Bob Hope comedy now, and they're old jokes, but like he was the one who was telling them first. So I think Bob Hope, and again, I've never actually watched him, so I could be very well be wrong about this, but the impression I get is that Bob Hope seems unfunny now because of how influential his comedy was. But like I said, I could be wrong about that I very well could be misremembering who Bob Hope is. Jokey, what? Oh, I think I did hear that. Yeah, I feel like I did hear that Bob Hope just like stole a lot of jokes. I never watched either version of The Office, actually. Sandy? Eh, I'm wrong plenty of times. How often am I wrong? Exactly. I would guess that I am wrong 85% of the time that I am not correct. Don Rickles? Yeah, he was a legend. Though again, I haven't really watched a whole lot of like classic comedy specials or anything like that. So I've never watched a Don Rickles set. Did I date Eugenie Cooney? Doubt it. Thoughts on MacGyver? Never watched. Mickey Rooney and Judy Garland together equals truly the best. Judy Garland was pretty cool just in general. She was pretty great in general. You think Tropic Thunder is fun? I've never watched it. I've never actually watched Tropic Thunder. Mitch Hedberg. He was amazing. Also, Mitch Hedberg is absolutely perfect evidence that a joke does not need to have a target to be funny. This shirt is dry clean only, which means it's dirty. Or an escalator can never be broken. It can only become stairs. Sign should say, escalator temporarily stairs. Sorry for the convenience. And obviously, Rice is great when you're hungry and you want 2,000 of something. Do heroin in Mitch's memory. Like, he was just amazing, just incredible one-liners. Like, he very rarely had long-form jokes. Very, very few of his jokes went more than 3 or 4 sentences. Good comedian was Rodney Dangerfield. He only made fun of himself and his wife. Yep. Rodney Dangerfield was one of the big self-deprecating. Like, he was one of the giants of self-deprecating comedy. Balding deadpan comedian with the curly hair. Yeah, I don't remember. I think he actually appeared in Ghost World, didn't he? Like, they showed like the very end of his one of his sets in Ghost. Like, they showed the characters watching one of his sets in Ghost World. It's like I always say, take my life, please. I'm bussing. Stephen Wright. That might be it. I think I saw some of his. I think I've seen. I think I might have watched him on like Just for Laughs once, and yeah, I think I liked him. Dimitri Martin, self-deprecation is the comedian being his own victim. God damn it. Yeah, I do really love Dimitri Martin as well. Dimitri Martin's great as well. But yes, self-deprecating humor is like the comedian is the target of the joke. Let's talk about Louis C.K. Maybe let's not. But yeah, I do really like Dimitri Martin. One of the jokes he did that stands out to me, like one of my absolute all-time favorite Dimitri Martin jokes, maybe one of my all-time favorite jokes. He showed a chart of the hotness of a girl versus how interested he is in hearing her talk about her cat. And like, the hotter she is, the chart goes, the graph goes up. So the hotter she is, the more he's fine hearing about her cat. But at a certain point, he doesn't want to hear about it. Doesn't matter how hot you are. I don't want to hear any more about your fucking cat. I hate your cat. When you're out of the room, I try to get him. It's just like, great joke. Dimitri Martin would not have been able to launch it. Dimitri Martin did launch his career in the U.S. He was on The Daily Show. Like, I think like The Daily Show was his sort of big break. Should I see if this fart is a fart, or should I just go to the bathroom to be safe? Tough call. Remember when Gallagher would smash kittens with a hammer? I don't remember that one. South Park episode of Satan's Halloween Party and Biggie Smalls the best. I mean, yeah, that one was a pretty fun episode. And again, one of the things that made that episode funny was that it wasn't really targeting anyone. It wasn't like really saying anything. It was just stupid comedy. Conan O'Brien was great in his early days, especially when he was a writer on The Simpsons. Yep. I've heard that Conan can sometimes be a bit of an ass. That he can be actually like really tough to work with sometimes. Like, he can just be. Like, he can just be kind of mean at times, like to the people he works with. Jimmy Fallon fake laugh. I don't know what Jimmy Fallon's fake laugh sounds like. I don't watch. Never watched any Jimmy Fallon. My favorite rapper? I'm not really into rap. So yeah, I don't have a favorite rapper. I don't listen to enough rap to have a favorite. Greg Giraldo? Yeah, Greg Giraldo. I remember he used to be on the Comedy Central roasts. He was always really good on those Comedy Central roasts. What's weird, I've actually got a song on my computer that is just music set over a Greg Giraldo set. I think the song "Underwear Goes Inside the Pants," I think is the name of the song. Yeah, it's like is this Greg Giraldo set, and somebody just like put music to it. Anthony Jeselnik. I saw him at one of the Comedy Central roasts. The Trump roast? I think he was at the Trump roast. Which fuck Comedy Central for putting that roast on, frankly. That was a shitty fucking choice from Comedy Central. They were fucking assholes for doing that. Like whoever made the decision to put on that roast, fuck that guy. They should have lost their fucking job for that bullshit. What Ben Shapiro, Greg Giraldo, and Conan O'Brien have in common? No, Ann Coulter was Harvard. Shit, I don't even remember the guy's name. The one with Ann Coulter was one of those washed up 80s actors who slept with a 13-year-old girl, as I recall. Or made like a sex tape with an underage girl. 15 made a sex tape with an underage girl. And still gets to get a fucking roast. I genuinely don't remember the guy's name. I don't remember. I don't really. He wasn't somebody that I gave a shit about. Rolling his new Ann Coulter? No. Wasn't Charlie Sheen? No. No, somebody far less relevant. Actor. He was an actor. He was fairly big in the 80s. I don't remember what he did, but he was pretty big in the 80s. Jeff Ross. I ended up having like sort of Rob Lowe. Yes, thank you, Cam. The Rob Lowe. And Kooky, yes. So yeah, Coulter was at the Rob Lowe roast. I don't know why she was invited. I genuinely don't know why she got invited. Like, it baffles. 16 years old? Okay. So still a minor. She was still a kid. Rob Lowe's still a fucking creep for that shit. Yeah, she got hella roast. I mean, fucking Jewel. Of all people, fucking Jewel destroyed her. Jewel seems like an absolute sweetheart. Like, Jewel seems like the kind of person who just doesn't, who's incapable of being mean. And even she was just wrecking, just tearing into Ann Coulter. Hey, whoop doop. Like, Jewel just goes up and like, is she using her snaggletooth to do the tearing? Jewel is back. She is. Jewel just seems like a sweetheart. If Comedy Central wanted to roast you, they wouldn't. They wouldn't roast me. There's no point. Like, I'm a nobody. I do think that Comedy Central should focus on roasting comedians. Like, do a roast of Jerry Seinfeld. Right? Like Jerry Seinfeld would be an absolutely perfect target for a roast, right? Comedic legend. Largely, yeah. His career is long since peaked, but he's still well respected. He still gets work. Let him do a roast of Jerry Seinfeld. Or Bieber ended friendships after his roast. Who else would be a good comedian to roast? But I feel like roasting comedians is sort of the way to go. Because that's what the roasts originated as. It started off and it was a bunch of funny people talking shit about each other. Well, yes, Dave Chappelle's a comedian. And Chappelle would be Chappelle would actually be another reasonable choice for another good choice to do for a roast. Man, show was freaking great. Yeah. I don't know that it was ever actually good. I enjoyed it for a little while. It was never actually a good show. Funny if you have, it's funny when you're 15. It's funny when you're a 16-year-old boy or a 15-year-old boy. His idea for her to be there was looking for a political figure to make the event more relevant just a few months before the election and was promoting her book. I like having big targets there. Is Jeff Ross? Is Jeff Ross? Then Jeff Ross is a fucking idiot. Like, if it's Jeff Ross's idea to have Ann Coulter there, then he's a fucking idiot. You want somebody politically relevant? There are way better choices. Go with somebody who isn't a fucking Nazi. No, Ann Coulter. Ann Coulter is a fucking Nazi. If you're going to have sort of a political figure up there, go with somebody who isn't universally reviled. Sure. Donation? I know nothing about him. Hey, Edward Cullen. Did he? Oh, she is a white nationalist. Ann Coulter is absolutely a white supremacist. She is absolutely a fucking white nationalist. She is a goddamn Nazi bit. She is a goddamn Nazi asshole, and she should be fucking called out for it every time she opens her mouth. Or am I impassioned Jason Alexander rant? Yeah, Jason Alexander's great. With a bizarrely well known, or bizarrely well educated on nuclear physics. You happen to be in Coulter, what say you now? I still say fucking Nazi. Yeah, like Alexander, like Jason Alexander knows a lot about nuclear physics for some reason. Apparently, it's just something that he's really interested in. He went on Celebrity Jeopardy once, and there's a category on nuclear physics, and he cleared it. He was on again a few years later. So they did a category on advanced nuclear physics just for him. Yeah, it's one of those things that's like, why do you know so much about this? Thoughts on Nancy Reagan? Hey, Cecia. I hear she was a throat goat. I know, Dandy. It's all way beyond me. Hey, meat sweats. What is a throat goat? Ask your mom. Am I a throat goat? Never tested. I've never checked. What's the deal with Toronto mayors? Anyway, Jason Alexander is great. I loved him in Duckman. Loved that cartoon. That was such a good show. Cornfed was best. Yeah, Cornfed was great. I don't know. Jason Alexander also just seems like a really nice guy. Like I've never heard anyone say anything bad about him. Give him a roast. Or give him a new show. Dad mentions Charlotte had it how at least once a week. It's kind of weird. That is kind of weird. Yeah. Give Jason Alexander his own show again. You know, the man can. I think the man could carry a show. You know, like I honestly think that he could carry a series. He's got the humor and he's got the charisma. Plenty of people do think he's. There are, and honestly, there are plenty of people who do think that he's, who do find him attractive, who do find him cute. I remember Elaine's failed sitcom is bad, the bad sort of bad. Sort of. I never watched it, but I mean, she's had a. Oh, why am I blanking on her name? Julia Louis Dreyfus. Dreyfus has had a pretty successful career, and she's done well for herself. She's respected. VP. Yeah, I think VP lasted a good while, good few seasons, and now apparently she's. I guess she's in the MCU apparently. Veep, yes, yeah, I think Veep got a good few seasons there, and yeah, so people still really like Julia Louis Dreyfus. Okay, Jenna, sweet dreams. New Adventures of Old Christine. Ah, yes, that was the one that failed. I forgot about that show. Yeah, that one pretty much. That one kind of bombed, as I recall. Yeah, Michael Richards. Michael Richards is the only member of the main cast of Seinfeld who hasn't had a particularly successful post Seinfeld career. No, that show ended, and everybody stopped giving a single wet hot shit about that dude. You said about the show Wednesday is the same thing about the show Star Trek, same characters in different situations. I would disagree, Tim. I mean, like, the core of Star Trek as a franchise is take take a cat like take the characters, throw them into a weird situation, see how they react. Like that's sort of the core of what Star Trek is, really. Um, I never watched Game of Thrones. No, the Addams Family is take these weirdos and put them and contrast them with normal society. 5 seasons is not a fail. I stand corrected. Hey, Maddie and Isabella. Apparently, Jenna Ortega is planning on cutting out any sort of romantic bullshit in season 2 of Wednesday, which is probably the right way to go. She was not impressed with the love triangle aspect of the first season. Couldn't tell you, Script Goat. Yeah, she was not impressed with that aspect of the first season. So I don't know, Dandy. I guess we'll have to wait and see. Hey, Lou. Have you been settling in Cornwall? Yeah. Taco Accessory Dynasty. Ooh. Is it co-star Creeper? Not sure. Don't know if I heard anything about any of her co-stars. Stay out of East End. Yeah, the East End is. I mean, it's actually not all that dangerous. It's just Kind of shitty. No, I still got my mods color purple. Just none of them around right now. The Creeper co-star was fired. Good. Good riddance. Lots of break-ins towards that side. Wednesday should definitely be darker. If that's what they're going for, yeah. If they're going for a horror vibe, then yeah. Promise to stream tomorrow. I won't make any promises, but I don't see any reason why I wouldn't. Speaking of streaming tomorrow, it's getting late. Disco Elysium now. I have no rhythm. Disco Elysium's a rhythm game, right? Because I have no rhythm. Negative rhythm. I somehow have negative rhythm. Would I dress up as Wednesday? Sure. I'm down with the goth look. I'm not likely to dress up as her, though. Amnesiac cop trying to solve the murder. Yeah, my rhythm is so bad that I would end up like committing more murders trying to solve that one. Like, I don't know if it's even possible. Like, I don't even know if it's. I thought it was a rhythm game. I thought it was a music game. Point and click. Yeah. Well, I completely mistook it for something else then. Still, I suspect I'm not likely to play it. I do have a fair number of other games that I to play. There's a couple of games that I still need to finish and other games that I need to start, and still need to decide if I want to take as Creeper and co-stars from Newfoundland. I think I knew that. I think I did hear about that. FF7 remake. That's a ways out. I still need to decide if I want to like set some sort of donation goal and work over. Oh no, I'll get back. I'll get back to that game. I'll get back to it. I've still got a few bits to do, and there is a piece of DLC coming out that I think next month. I believe next month, the final DLC for Our Life drops. So yeah, I'll be finishing up that game. But yeah, I need to decide if I'm willing to play any Sims 2, and if I am, what sort of donation goal I should set before I do play it. This Saturday will probably I'll do Mario Kart again this Saturday. One more Mario Kart stream this Saturday, and then I'll get back to something else. No idea if he's ever worn it, Twinkie. Won't be here Saturday, so that's a great idea. All right. Anyway, it's 1 a.m. Been on live for 2 hours, so it is time to end the stream. So thanks for coming. And I'll see you all later. Good night.